Welcome back in McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. Final hour of the show underway Thursday, October 16th. Listen online, JocksFM.com. Apps in your App Store, iPhone, Android. Download it for free. Watch live on YouTube every day. Search Jocks945. He joins us each and every week thanks to our friends at Coke and Piggly Wiggly. It's the coach, Wimp Sanderson.
Well,
Coach?
since I'm a football genius, I can't go to basketball without mentioning football because Alabama Tennessee week. In the years that I've been there before you guys were born, Alabama and Tennessee would win in stretches. One would win 5 or 6 games in a row, and then the other team would win 5 or 6 games in a row. Not being ugly about this, Coach Bryant left Kentucky because they had a very hard time beating Tennessee because of recruiting Bob Naylor was there. Neither one of you were born. He moved on to A&M for more money before he came back home to Alabama. Tennessee, this means nothing. Tennessee hadn't won at Alabama since 2003, I think is correct. So I'll tell you what I think about the game, and you can fuss at me. I think it's a possession game for Alabama. With Jam hurt, running back hurt, I think the short. I don't think Alabama tries to throw it a long way to start with. I think because they got a great passer. I think they try to throw the open passes, the short open passes. I think they try to keep the football possession-wise a bigger number than Tennessee tries to keep it. Everything depends on the line up front. I think both teams have got. I think Alabama has gotten better as the game goes along defensively. If you go by the game that Tennessee played against Arkansas spread them out. Bobby Petrino's a very good offensive coordinator, regardless of what you think about him. He spread Tennessee, and Tennessee couldn't tackle me in that game. They were terrible. I don't know what y'all think about what I've said, but if you got any comments, you can. So is that not right, or am I wrong?
No, I don't think you're wrong. We talked about a couple of games in this way with Greg a few moments ago, and he brought up Arkansas and A&M, and did we think that there's a way for Arkansas to be able to find that game? And then, of course, Alabama-Tennessee, one we're going to spend a lot of time on just because of what that rivalry is and then what both those offenses are and have been this year and how they're a little bit different on each side of the football. So I don't know if there's a game this weekend you like a little bit more than those, Coach, or one that you don't give us the blue plate on Thursday anymore. So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know the blue plate because my lines have changed so bad, and I've gotten my Fantasy beat by giving it out early, and I did on my show early, and I got beat every time, so I couldn't. I just wait as long as I possibly can because the lines change on you. So I think with all due respect to the Auburn game, I think Auburn would not hurt themselves if they changed quarterbacks. Just to take a look. I think when they took the kid, he had played for a team that was all injured, and they thought that was the reason they wasn't as good as he needed to be. And he played good against Baylor, but I'm not sure that maybe changing the quarterbacks or taking a look at another quarterback might be interesting. I think Ole Miss's quarterback is better than we think. I don't think they beat Georgia at Georgia, but I think Ole Miss's quarterback, coming from whatever division school he came from, is a little bit better player than the name is. The name that doesn't jump out at us. I don't know what y'all talked. I'm sure you talked about all of it, but any thoughts on the Georgia Ole Miss game by either one of you?
Well, according to Damian, because Georgia has not seen Ole Miss this year, that is a massive advantage for the Rebels. That advantage does not also apply to Georgia because they've not seen Ole Miss. But either way, I don't know, Coach. This game used to be. This is kind of similar to what we talked about with Georgia and Tennessee. Georgia used to beat Tennessee because the blunt force trauma could not be matched, and therefore Georgia could do it with less bodies. I just don't know if that differential is still extended to the point that it is a massive advantage for Georgia anymore. Now, I'm a little concerned about what I saw from the Ole Miss defense last week. I'm not going to say that's what it is for good, but they sleptwalked through that game last week, and they can't do that against this Georgia offense. I think Ole Miss will move the ball. I really do. And I don't know to what extent, and I think this will come down to what Mike Bobo and that Georgia offense can actually find ways to do, because that secondary for Ole Miss can be gotten. They just have to protect their quarterback long enough to be able to do it. G-Mac, how do you see this Ole Miss-Georgia game?
Yeah. What about
See, like the thing about Ole Miss is I think they'll be okay up front as it relates to the pass rush. I'm not that worried about that. I think Georgia has traded in Twitch for size, and I don't think you're going to get a real aggressive front. I do think they have a couple guys off the edge that can go a little, but they haven't had that many opportunities for whatever reason. As a result, the sack numbers are not impressive. Now, I don't love the situation where any of those offensive linemen get matched up with one of their blitzing linebackers, because those guys can win. But I think they can neutralize that with some of their RPO stuff and get them to play a touch slower. I think the big key is if Ole Miss can create some matchups on the outside with their wide receivers, who I think are really good, and make guys miss. Ole Miss is going to get a couple double moves. They're going to get a couple stop and goes, and they're going to get some one-on-ones because of how well they run the football. Georgia's not going to be able to just take away the pass because you're capable of running it now with Kewan Lacey. That was not a threat last year. They were good by way of the quarterback run, not so much by way of the traditional handed off zone read style of attack. So I think Ole Miss matches up okay, actually. I think they can win this game. I absolutely believe that, but it will require their defense playing at a real high level against the run and not getting burned in one-on-ones on the outside.
I think just from a standpoint, like I know nothing like you guys do, but as I try to watch football coaches, like I watch basketball coaches, I think Georgia does a really good job of adjusting during the game defensively. I think they're able to pretty much get from the press box or from themselves on the sidelines and adjust some things that they do defensively about as well or better than most teams in the league. I don't. Both of y'all comment on that because I've made that statement on my show, and I don't know if people didn't agree much. But any thoughts on that at all? Their ability to adjust as the game goes along, Georgia.
Well, they adjusted defensively extremely well against Auburn. And even though it wasn't a massive adjustment, it paid big dividends, in my opinion. Now, offensively, I don't know how different they've had to be in the second half of games, G-Mac. I mean, I think there have been times they've leaned on the run a little bit more. There have been times they've done a little bit more to bolster protection, maybe added some Q run to help with that. But I don't know if I've looked at a game that Georgia's had this year, Greg, and said that the offensive adjustments as the game went on made that much difference. There were some early struggles, and then they just figured some things out, but I don't know how much I look at the adjustments and said, oh, yeah, that was definitely it.
Yes. Well, what I would say is when evaluating how Georgia attacks, I think Georgia has kind of kept it close to the vest. I don't think they've necessarily opened things up a ton offensively. But in this game, they might, because they know they got to score. Like, Ole Miss is going to score in this game. Like, I feel pretty confident that Ole Miss will score. They'll definitely move it between the 20s. So if they need to get into a track meet, Georgia proved at Tennessee that they can. And what Georgia also proved is that if you have liabilities at corner, they can take advantage of you on the outside. I mean, Gunnar Stockton in that game threw a bunch of nice throws downfield, and they had some good catch and run situations. And I'm not sold on Ole Miss's secondary, but I do like Ole Miss's pass rush. I think Ole Miss has some guys up front that can make problematic for Gunnar Stockton on some slower developing throws. So do you feel good, Cole, about the pass rush for Ole Miss getting home and making life difficult?
I do, but not as much because of Ole Miss, but more so because of the Georgia inconsistencies there. I mean, I realize that Ole Miss is not world beaters rushing the passer. Uman Yellen has shown some flashes here recently, been a little bit better. I thought he got off to a bit of a slow start. He's been somebody that I think they can lean upon. Obviously, Xavier Harris inside is somebody who can create some of that. Will Eccles playing great football inside. And Cam Franklin is a dude that can go in and out. I've even mentioned maybe the best overall football player on their team that they can bring down and rush off the outside when they need to in Santarin Perkins. So, yeah, I think they can get home. I do. And I think this is – but again, Coach, like I said, it comes down to what the Georgia offense has to do in this game. Do they have to throw the ball 40 times? Because if they're comfortable not doing that, they're not going to do that. And I think it's what does Ole Miss dictate from that offense early in the game that probably decides it.
If you woke up this morning and you've been out of this world for all your life, and you picked up the paper and said Vanderbilt's a 2.5-point favorite over LSU,
it'd be a weird one.
You'd have bought another paper because you'd have thought that. I mean, I've been watching football all my life, know nothing about it, as you already know. But I know about coaching, and I know about Vanderbilt. When you defend the option, it's a little bit different. And I'm certainly talking for Greg, but been taking that ball from the center all the time and passing it or running with, handing it off. If you haven't worked against the option, to me, and Alabama felt that a little bit. I think in the first few minutes of the game, it's a little bit confusing. So that should be very, very interesting. And before I want to mention basketball before I leave, because I need to. But one other thing, I don't know what's going to happen in Florida. I'm not a big on, even in my show, on talking about coaches getting fired all the time. Maybe they haven't played as well. They're better defensively than I think they are. We've got 9 coaches already been fired already. So Florida playing Mississippi State, it's supposed to be a win, and maybe it will be. But I hate to continue to see that for coaches. Basketball-wise, before I get off without overdoing my time, Alabama plays tonight against Florida State at Belleville, and Auburn lost last night to Oklahoma State. So we'll see how that goes. Your best teams in
what do you take away from that one, Coach? I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't see a single second of it. So I had my kids solo last night. So they don't have the personnel they have had. I know you're going to go back. We're going to all go. Everybody's going to go back to the coaching, and I'm sure that's when I took the job, nobody wanted me to have it either. So they'll do okay. They're pick 6 in the league. I was at the SEC meetings. They asked me to come, and I appreciated that. And they're pick 6. That doesn't mean picking doesn't mean anything. But I think they're going to struggle some. They're going to win some at home because of the crowd does a great job with them. But I think it's going to be a little bit of a tough year because they lost a lot of people. When you lose a lot of people, players win games. Coaches help, but players win games, and you got to have players. I don't know if they've got the kind of players that they have had. Florida, Kentucky, Tennessee, and Alabama picked as the top 4, and Bucky at A&M is picked way on down at 13, and picking doesn't mean anything. I'm just talking, and so we'll see exactly what happens there. But tell us this really quick, though, Coach. Like the Auburn situation last night, based on that being an exhibition, what should we realistically take away from that one?
Well, not a whole lot. I don't think. I think it's a look and see at my team. I just don't know that. I didn't get to see all of it myself. The personnel is just not where it has been. They've got to work really hard defensively and get better there. And I think you just keep working your team and doing everything you possibly can. The expectation factor is when I took over for CM, nobody thought we'd win a game, and they'll think that same thing here. And when DeBoer came in to Coach Saban, nobody thought they'd ever win a game. It's expectation factor. It's there. Just keep. I think Auburn's got a chance to have a decent team. I don't think they're going to have a team that's going to compete for the conference championship. And I hope they do. I hope they have a good team. I hope they do a good job with it. But it's kind of a wait and see. It's awfully hard to tell in exhibition games because you're trying to get a really close look at your game, your team, and what you need to do and how you need to change things. Who did what? Sometimes I don't know about it in football. Sometimes you practice real good, but when you get in the game, you don't play very well. I've had several of those teams where a couple of guys would practice great, they put them in the game, but they couldn't play, or didn't play it the way he should. So I don't know. Those are things I think about. And basketball's coming up, and I'd be happy to give you what I think as the season goes along, and we'll see what happens. So anyway, football is. This is the first time we've had all. I think this is correct. All 8, all games, SEC versus SEC, no non-conference games, and so this is big week. So anyway, Piggly Wiggly and Coca-Cola give me an opportunity to be here with you, and I appreciate it. They're great. Stanley and I go back, as I said all the time. Andy and I go back, and Piggly Wiggly does everything they possibly can to make you have an enjoyment shopping experience when you go in there, and they're great people. I tell you that for sure. And Coke's a great product. Everything they have done down through the years to get you from Coke with sugar to Coke without sugar, and everybody else has done, and they've done a great job with it. I appreciate you guys having me on, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Talking to you next week. Thanks.
Thanks, Coach. We appreciate
right.
you. There you go. The Coach Wimp Sanderson joining us on the Higginbotham Hotline. We'll take all that news, all of those games, we'll spit it in the computers and give you this week's winners from the Rubik's Cubelic next, right here on Jocks. Welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. Thursday, October 16th. It's 9:20 right here on Jocks 94.5. Watch live on YouTube. Search JOX 945. You can just throw that on the TV in the office or at the house every morning. Hang out with us as you get moving along. The weather continues to move along as football season moves along, and that means changes are coming. Protect your HVAC system with a checkup from a trained comfort specialist, so when the cold weather hits, you'll have peace of mind. You're protected by America's most reliable and trusted brand. Find a comfort specialist near you at train.com, and remember, it's hard to stop a train. Not the best opening week for the Rubix Cubelic, and we said that last week. We said this is usually how it goes. It's don't get off to a great start, and I believe it was 1-3 last week. So we had a serious talking to with some of the epidemiologists there at Redstone, saying we got to figure this out. You missed Missouri, you missed Oklahoma, you missed Auburn. Got Indiana, though. Got Indiana.
Boom.
Couple folks in here got Indiana. Well, two of us. One human, one computer. Let's take it to the computers this week. We will start with LSU and Vanderbilt. John, plug it in. Wow. We do have a lot to get to today. Games in Nashville. Is that an advantage? We'll see. The computers say it is. Maybe since the construction's over now, it does count as an advantage. 209 on the ground for Vandy, 115 for LSU. 91 allowed on the ground by Vandy, 103 for LSU. So Vanderbilt off to a pretty good start here, +4 in the turnovers. LSU +2 in the turnovers. I think we see why Las Vegas is doing what they're doing right now. 41 flags, 372 yards for LSU, 44 for 408 for Vandy. Maybe slight differential there goes to the Tigers from Baton Rouge. LSU, 42% on third down.
Okay. We've seen better.
We have seen better, specifically by the number 2 third down conversion offense in all of college football, the Vanderbilt Commodores, who convert 58% of their third downs this year. They are 33 of 57 on third down. There's only one team in college football better than they are, and you will hear from them soon. That's also first in the Southeastern Conference, as you could imagine. 32% allowed by LSU, 37 by Vandy, so that also may be a slight little advantage that would go to LSU, but still by a margin of +2.5.
Wow.
The computers, just like Vegas, Greg, also like Vanderbilt.
Love that.
Okay.
I think Vandy's the side. That's the side I'm on.
Okay.
It really is.
That's coming from a guy that loves LSU, too.
I know.
Thinking about that.
I like LSU.
Ole Miss is at Georgia. John, plug that one in. Get the receipt there. Game is in Athens. Do we have an advantage for both teams haven't seen one another all year? How does the computer? I don't know if the
I
computer.
think they've seen them now. They've seen tape.
That is helpful.
We might actually blow the mainframe up if we ask them to even calculate that. I don't know how that
servers
would
can
work.
handle this. Okay.
Okay, 204 on the ground for Ole Miss, 186 for Georgia. Advantage Ole Miss. Georgia allows 92 rushing yards per game. That's 6th in the SEC. Not
Okay,
bad.
solid.
Pretty good. Ole Miss gives up 158 a game on the ground. That's 14th in the SEC.
Almost feels like a double.
It's close, but that's an advantage to the Georgia Bulldogs. Ole Miss -4 in the turnovers. Georgia -1. Can it be an advantage when you're minus in the turnovers? I guess it will be for Georgia.
Oh, that's a double negative.
And that makes a positive, right?
Okay,
so,
yes.
Georgia.
Hey.
There you go. See, I failed math 3 years in a row, but I learned something. Ole Miss has 47 flags for 443 yards. That is 14th in the Southeastern Conference. Georgia, boy, after last weekend, no one's going to be surprised to see they have 29 flags for 265 yards, second best in the SEC.
Oh, I wonder why.
Not even on purpose did I do that. Ole Miss converts 51% on third down. Georgia converts 46%. Slight edge actually there to the Rebs. And then Ole Miss actually a little bit better on third down defense, allowing opponents to convert 33% of the time. Georgia allowing opponents to convert 40% of the time. Because of the home field, by a margin of +0.5, the Rubik's Cubelic does like Georgia in a close game. Very close game. Let's go outside the SEC. Notre Dame is welcoming Southern California. John, plug it in. It just happened so fast. The receipts almost knocked it out.
You didn't go to CVS this time.
They do give you the long receipt there. So, all right, Notre Dame averaging 172 a game on the ground. USC 227 yards per game on the ground. That's advantage USC. Greg, you like their running backs there for the Trojans.
I did until they both got hurt. So that's a challenge. But they do have King Miller, walk-on, that stepped up last week, ran for $158, a couple 40-yard gains. He's got some juice. He's just not super match up against what is a pretty physical group.
All right, 106 and 109 allowed on the ground, so no real offset there. No, USC is +4, Notre Dame's +6. Notre Dame gets the slight advantage there. Notre Dame 35 flags for 285 yards. USC 44 for 423. They're in Ole Miss territory. They're 17th in the Big Ten. Not great. Notre Dame converts 49% on third down. USC 55%. That's first in the Big Ten.
Ooh.
USC allows 38% on third down. Notre Dame allows 36%. Not a true advantage there for Notre Dame, and by a margin of +1. The Rubix Cubelic likes the Irish basically because they're at home to be able to pull this game out. Another close one per the computers.
Very close. We got a good game. Good
We just read
coming.
the receipts. It's all we do here. That's it. That's it. Let's go further outside the SEC. The Holy War is this weekend. Some folks might not be allowed to call it that, but we will. Utah BYU, John, plug it in. Now, this was my upset pick of the week a little bit earlier in the show. Games at BYU advantage there. 238 on the ground for the Cougars, 248 on the ground for the Utes. That is 8th nationally.
That's pretty good.
8th best rush team in all of college football. But BYU allows 104 a game on the ground. Utah allows 142. We mentioned the last few games earlier that had been a problem. +1 for Utah, +4 for BYU. Advantage BYU. 31 for 278 in the flag department for Utah. 40 for 334 for BYU. Advantage Utah. Remember earlier, BYU converts 43% of their third downs, by the way.
Okay.
When I told you there was one team that was better than Vandy in converting third downs this year, that would be the Utah Utes, converting 60% of their third downs on the season.
That's amazing.
Oh my.
6-0 on the year for Utah. They are 48 of 80 on third down.
Did you say Ute? Wow.
I did.
What the heck is a Ute?
28% allowed on third down by BYU. 33% allowed by Utah. By a margin of +1.5, the computers like BYU. Where are you on that game, Greg? I said
I'm on
BYU
Utah.
earlier, but you like Utah?
I'm on Utah.
Okay.
Yeah.
2 more to go quickly. Missouri's at Auburn. Plug it in. Auburn gets the advantage for playing at home. Auburn runs for 164 a game. Missouri runs for 271.
A little bit more.
Uh-oh.
Mighty.
That is first in the SEC and 6th in all of college football.
Okay.
Not the only bad news in the rushing department for Auburn. Allowing 87 rush yards per game is pretty good. 4th in the SEC, right?
Yeah, they'll take it.
Yeah, Mizzou allows 73. It's first in the SEC.
They will take it.
Okay.
First in the Southeastern Conference. Also, 2nd in all of college football. Only Texas Tech allows fewer rush yards per game than the Missouri Tigers. But Auburn's
Really?
+3 in the Auburn is +3 in the turnovers. Missouri's -1.
What?
That would be a double up.
Auburn has 55 flags for 448 yards this
Oh,
year.
man.
Okay, well, that was their silver
We
lining.
thought Ole Miss was bad at 47. Auburn has 55 flags on the season. If you were going just penalties, just the actual flags, not the yardage. Cut the music for a second, please. There's one team in college football that has more penalty flags thrown on them this year than Auburn.
Auburn
One.
scout team?
One. Georgia State is the only team.
Oh, boy.
And by the way, it's not really close. They have 62. Auburn has 55.
Really?
That is 75 yards per game in penalties.
That's terrible.
Well, actually, the yardage part's not near as bad for Auburn.
Sure.
If you wanted to go in that direction, I could offer you up James Madison, who is hit with 84 yards per game in penalties.
Okay.
But, yeah. So
84.
84. Georgia State, 83. UNLV, 83. Toledo, 79. Tulane, 79. So the yardage part, not the worst. The actual flags is one away from being the worst.
Oh, yeah.
So there you go.
So Auburn's about quantity. Okay, not quality. Got it. Okay, all right.
Yeah,
False
that's
starts
one way to look
instead
at
of
it.
Pass
Yeah.
interferences.
Auburn is 37% on third down. That's 14th in the SEC.
That's not good.
Missouri's 55%.
Okay.
It's really good. Auburn is good on third down defense, though, allowing 28%. Fourth in the SEC.
That's great.
Missouri's second in the SEC, allowing 25%
That's even better.
converted on third down by a margin of plus 1.5. The computers like Missouri.
Okay.
All that for 1.5.
It's reasonable.
Well, it is. The game is in
It's in
Auburn and the
Jordan.
turnovers,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
yeah.
that,
Okay.
that works against you a little bit. Didn't completely dominate everything. Third Saturday in October. Plug it in, John. Game's in Tuscaloosa, right?
It is.
That's
Correct.
why Alabama has the advantage there. Alabama runs for 127 a game.
It's reasonable.
Think it'd be better.
It isn't really even reasonable because Tennessee runs for 210 a game.
That would be a
Alabama
Basically double.
allows 157 per game on the ground. That is 13th in the Southeastern Conference. I would actually like to know the year that Alabama allowed more rushing yards than rushed 4 yards in a season. That had to be like 2006 ish, maybe.
Or
Tennessee,
maybe earlier than that.
some of those defenses were still pretty good when the
Yeah.
team was down. 136 a game allowed by Tennessee on the ground advantage. Vols. Tennessee +2 in the turnovers.
That's good.
It is good. Bama's +9.
that's
great.
gooder than good.
Yeah.
It's
That's
outstanding.
that's tied for second in all of college football. Tennessee 44 flags, 380 yards. Alabama 32 for 258.
Okay.
They are the least penalized team in the Southeastern Conference.
Discipline.
Hey, they win the turnover
That's
battle.
actually
They're
like
not flagged.
that's actually like pretty surprising, isn't it?
It's actually very different for Alabama, if I'm not mistaken, over
Right.
the last few years.
Well, it just felt like they had a couple games with a lot of penalties, but I guess they just haven't. Maybe that's just imagination.
Alabama converts 51% on third down. Tennessee 49. Tennessee allows opponents to convert 38%. Alabama allows opponents to convert 37.
Okay.
Oh, I almost did the little thing that my son's doing all the time now, and I'm.
What, saying they're trash? When they're
Don't
not?
do it. Don't do it.
Okay.
It's not 37.
Don't
It's
do
another
it.
number with.
Oh,
Oh,
no.
in front
Oh,
of the
no.
7. Yeah.
Oh, no.
And he did it the other day, and I'm like, "Where did you get that? Stay away from the kid that
Oh,
taught
my
you that."
gosh. Yes. That's a get off my lawn type thing. Like, no, absolutely not.
No,
Oh, my gosh. It's so annoying.
the folks don't even know what we're talking about either, which is
Oh.
hilarious.
Disgusting.
No clue.
Be happy.
Yes,
Just be
please.
happy.
Yours are about a year or so away from
Yeah.
that. Based on our tie-breaking metric,
Which is?
unknown.
Oh.
Let me check it. Double check it again. Got it.
Perfect.
The tiebreaker is actually not close. So by a full point, the Rubik's Cubelic likes Alabama +1 to win this game against Tennessee.
Get your cigar out, Greg.
Your
You don't
Rubik's-
smoke it till the fat lady
Yeah,
sings.
kind of awkward
Your
doing that in
Rubik's
the booth.
Cubelic winners: Alabama
Yeah.
+1, Missouri +1.5, Vandy +2.5, Georgia +0.5, Notre Dame +1, BYU +1.5. So we will marinate on that. Discuss some of those numbers that we just heard on the other side of the break next on Jocks. All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. Appreciate you guys tuning in. 800-239-9569 if you want to get in on anything that the Rubik's Cubelic had to say. We'll go through a couple of those numbers here in just a moment. First, Greg, tell our listeners about Shannara Flooring.
Well, Fu and his guys have done it again. They continue to stockpile inventory, 50,000 square feet of Core-Tech flooring by Shaw in stock right now. And because they have so much, they're going to pass those savings on to you of 20 to 40% off. That Core-Tech is durable, dependable, long-lasting, and will absolutely add value to your home or business. It comes with a 20 mil wear layer, so it's really, really sturdy stuff. Highly recommend you going and checking it out. So when you want Core-Tech, call who? Call Fu. Call them today. But just go check them out online at fooandyou.com. That's fooandyou.com.
All right, let's go back to a couple of those numbers. Anything that stuck out to you, GMAC, that surprised you, that may actually change your opinion on some of these games, whether that be Vandy on third down, first in the SEC, second nationally at 58%, that turnover margin for Bama. What about the turnover margin in the Ole Miss-Georgia game? Both teams minus, but Ole Miss -4, Georgia -1. Georgia much better in the penalty department as well. Otherwise, that game was pretty close. The rushing defense much better for Georgia. That's probably the biggest statistical difference in most of the games that we threw out there. And if you're looking at that one, that one's a little bit of an anomaly for this game, though, because Ole Miss doesn't run in your traditional ways where Georgia may be best suited to slow that down and stop that. However, their linebackers can run. So and I don't think that Kejuan Lacey's going to be able to grind out yards against this defense the way he has a few others. This team a little bit too good of a tackling team, I believe, for him to kind of get to the line of scrimmage, keep the feet churning, all of a sudden bounce out for those 8 and 12-yard runs like he's done so many times this year.
Well, that's what I'm trying to figure out. Help me understand that. What I'm struggling with is when you look at Kejuan Lacey, like I think he's really good, but I'm amazed at how well he breaks tackles for a guy that's kind of high-hipped and long-legged. Like, he's a guy that I would think would, if you got him low, you would get him to the ground, but he doesn't go down. Like, it's pretty dang impressive to watch when you really look at him.
He's got to be really strong.
He's got to be.
Like, his lower half his lower half has got to be just strong as an ox. There's a couple guys you just watch them on film, and their strength just is immediately on display, and it just looks different. Like Maliaga, the right tackle at Miami, when he runs into people, they physically react differently than when most offensive linemen engage with people. Like it's just different. It is, and you can just tell Lacey when he runs the foot, he's got to be. I mean, I think Ahmad Hardy's probably the same way. Like people in the SEC don't bounce off of you like that, like they do off him very often. So some of those guys just have it. Let's go back to that LSU Vanderbilt game though, because you were talking a little bit earlier about how you're really starting to like Vandy in this game. And is it a game that may be more so than others because of what LSU is capable offensively and because of what they're not capable of offensively that Vanderbilt can't fall behind? Do the same rules apply for Vanderbilt in this game? And I think you might know where I'm going with this.
Right.
Than they would with some others.
No, I think the rules absolutely apply. Like the most important thing for Vandy is ball control, time of possession, grind you out, get it to third and manageable. The tough matchup here for Vandy is that they are not a team that can overcome a 3rd and 11. They're not consistently overcome a 3rd and 11. They cannot consistently overcome multiple 2nd and 9, 2nd and 10, 2nd and 12s. They're just not built that way. They're a team that needs to be very methodical. They need to average 3 or 4 yards on first down. Like to me in that game, it's 1st and 10 is the most important down and distance. Like if Vandy can get to 2nd and 6 consistently, 2nd and 5 consistently, they'll be cooking with gas. But if LSU on 1st and 10 is stopping their run game and all of a sudden you're looking at 2nd and 9, 2nd and 10, 2nd and 11, now you're going to have some problems. So I think that's the key of the game. If Vandy can stay on schedule, they're in good shape. If Vandy gets behind the sticks and off schedule, they're in trouble.
I would agree. And I look at that when we've kind of gone in, to most of these games with Vandy saying, I go back to what Tyler Watts said when he was on the show talking about that game. He said, once Alabama went up 2 scores, I knew they were good because Vanderbilt can't really play that game. However, Greg, LSU can't run the ball. So if they were to go up 10, if they were to go up 14, is that the same? especially against a good defense, that if they say, hey, we're definitely going to try to take the run away, you can't run the ball anyway. Like I think Vanderbilt, if LSU decided they want to run the football in this game, I don't like the matchup against Vandy's defense. And it's not that they have Dylan Stewart or Quentin Williams or anything like that. It's just they tackle well, they fly the football, they're disruptive, they give you different looks, in which LSU has busted assignments in the run game this year anyway, and they're not going to have to worry about the backside with quarterback run.
Yeah.
So I look at that as like, if this game's early third and, it's 21-7 LSU, I'm not going to slam the door on Vandy like maybe I would if it were Alabama or another team in the league.
Really?
No. Because I don't think if they got 21.
They can't run it. They can't run it they can't run 4-minute offense very well, I don't think.
Not at all. So I would think Vandy's still in that game and will still have a chance. Whereas if that's Alabama, if that's Tennessee, if that's Mizzou, I'm probably thinking Vandy's cooked. That's it. Like game over, game set match. But that's why I think this game has even a little extra intrigue. If they do get, let's say Aaron Anderson catches a slant and goes, and Trey Green jumps over somebody, mosses a dude and gets a touchdown. All of a sudden you're looking up, it's 14-0 late second. I don't look at that game and say, yeah, man, that's lights out O'Reilly for Vanderbilt. Like, forget it. Because LSU can't play that game. They just can't. But I am very interested to see.
They can't or they haven't. We still don't really know.
I'm leaning on can't now.
Okay.
There were a few times. There were a smidge of reps late in the South Carolina game where it looked a little more flat back, come off the ball, and movement on a combo, like an actual direct run that worked because of the blocking. Like 3.
Okay.
Total.
3.
No, I'm serious.
3. There you go.
Serious, but that's like 3 more than they've had the last 4 or 5 games.
Right.
So I know BK wants to get to that. They started using the chutes in the sled for the first time since spring ball in the off week.
Ooh,
so
there you go.
They're trying. They're trying, but I just don't know if they can live that life yet. What I am very interested to see, and this is where I'm actually a little more perplexed, is the LSU defense against the Vandy offense. I think this could be a game of dominance. I could also see this being a game of mistakes and being out of position. And I lean more towards dominance just because they're that athletic and that fast. But you know what Tim Beck's going to do? He's going to motion these guys. He's going to have heavy formations in. He's going to have unbalanced formations in, because I bet Tim Beck believes he can get that defense misaligned. I guarantee you right now, Tim Beck's walking around that facility saying, I can get them to line up wrong.
Yeah.
And he can do it late in the snap count. So he can motion shift late to where, by the way, do you know who wears the green dot for LSU?
No.
Who do you think wears it?
I would say West Weeks.
Harold Perkins.
Really?
For very interesting reasons.
I did not know that.
Now, it makes sense when Blake says he still likes to signal his defense in, because think about where they play.
Right.
And it's probably pretty loud a lot of times when they're on the field. He was like, I was always going to keep signals no matter what. He's like, but because we move Perk around a little bit and I ask him to do different things on different plays, and sometimes even what the call is, I want him to do something different, I like to be able to communicate with just him.
Yeah,
so
that's fair.
Harold doesn't share anything. He's not like trying to relay calls, nothing like that. It's just Blake has the ability to say, hey, man, walk up and rush the quarterback.
Yeah,
or no,
go.
hey, call this off. I need you to drop out into the flat here. Like he has the ability to tell him that a little bit late, which I just thought was unique. I don't think it's good, bad, indifferent. It's just unique, because where your brain went was, okay, who can distribute as much to the defense as quickly as possible? But they don't even
100%.
They don't even play that game anymore, and it makes sense when you're playing there, because you're probably like, we're not gonna be able to do that half the time anyway. So pretty cool to think about just kind of how that
Very
works.
cool. I didn't realize that. I do like the conversation, though, because for the first time, I felt like if you watched LSU in the first 4 or 5 games, there were very few situations with as aggressive as they are. There were very few busts, which is pretty remarkable. Like when you're that aggressive, you just understand you're going to build in the likelihood of 5 or 6 busts in a game. You just are. 10% of your plays, you're going to have one guy out of the 11 that's not going to do the right thing. And I felt like prior to the Ole Miss game, there were very few. And Ole Miss got them 4 or 5 times with crossball motion on busts. And that, to me, is something that I would be very aware of with Vanderbilt because, like you said, there will be some misdirection and confusion created by that scheme. They're just going to have a few. So that's not something I had thought a lot about. But, yes, I think busts are absolutely something to take into account in this game.
Yeah, 100%. All right, don't forget about Game Day Men's Health, guys. If you're feeling on edge, if you're lacking sleep, lacking energy, Game Day Men's Health can help you. You go to GameDayMen'sHealth.com right now. Sign up for the free consultation. This is what they're going to do for you. Free PSA test, free testosterone test, get you weighed in, check all your vitals, and let you know where your health is. All the baseline numbers that you need, and then they're going to say, these are the different options that we have for you, be it testosterone replacement, weight loss, a lot of different things, the peptides that are in stock. They just want to help you feel better and get back to being your best you. Go to GameDayMen'sHealth.com right now. Save 10% on any service they offer by mentioning Mac and Cube when you walk in the front door. It's GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Sign up today. The consultation is free, and there's minimal upfront costs from the programs they offer. They're now open in Trustville. Game Day Men's Health, GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Continuing this conversation on college football and games coming up this weekend. Next on Jocks. All right, we'll get you a bad box score of the day here in just a moment, then get you out for three-man front, and they'll take you into the Paul Feinbaum show. Before we move into our bad box score of the day, Greg, tell our listeners about Crocker Moving Services.
They're a local company owned by an Iraq War veteran, Eric Crocker. Crocker believes in hiring movers you can trust to complete full background checks and run drug tests on every single employee. These are good guys. And you can trust them in your home. They do a whole home packed up move, your company headquarters moved across country, or you just want them to come rearrange your living room. They got you covered. They also do deliveries for furniture that you've purchased and need to get to your home. So call or visit them online today, for a free quote. The website's CrockerMovingServices.com. That's CrockerMovingServices.com. Support your veterans by choosing Crocker Moving Service for your next move.
All right. We'll take you to first high school football. A quick update, not completely a bad box score of the day. I did want to, because we didn't get to this week, our chosen sons, the Soldotna Stars, they knocked off West Valley 38-14 last week, which means it's playoff time.
Let's go.
9-0. 9-0 into the playoffs.
You don't want that smoke.
They've got Lathrop Friday night, 7 p.m. I don't know if that's their time or our time. I'm assuming Central Time. I don't know where you can watch
That'd
it.
be like
but
11 a.m. their time.
maybe.
Could be.
But, yeah, they're 9-0 heading into the playoffs. That's all you need to know. And I believe Lathrop's one of the teams that gave them fits last year.
They did, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
I love that you guys both know that.
be on alert, Soldotna. Be on alert.
I know things about my sons,
Yes.
even chosen
100%.
or not.
100%.
Chosen or not. Yep.
All right, let's go to junior college football. We'll take you to the Coffeyville Community College.
They're the Cougars.
They're not.
They are the filters.
Let's
Falcons.
see where you went with that. No, they're the Ravens.
Oh,
Wrong bird.
And they took on the Highland Community College.
Scotsman.
So close.
Scots.
So close.
Sergeants.
Someone backpedaled. Ruined the average right there.
Scotties.
Scotty.
Oh.
Scotty.
Ah.
Scotty.
I thought Scotty don't know.
I was
Yeah.
I was thinking for S. I was thinking S something.
Well, the Scotties were beamed up 51-0.
Wow.
And if
Okay.
you were wondering if Coffeyville has a good football coach, they scored 7, 9, 21, and 14. The answer would be yes,
Oh, he's
according to
good.
local
He is.
Alabama media.
Dominant coach.
He's actually a
Go.
good
Yeah.
coach, yes.
Star.
Your first down differential, it's only 25-14.
Okay.
That's probably closer than you think.
Respectable.
The Scotties were 3 of 15 on third down, 0 for 3 on fourth down.
Okay.
That's,
Oh, Fiona got him
3
again.
for 18 on conversion downs is not the best day.
It's not.
There wasn't a lot during the air in this game. Coffeyville 155 through the air, 203 through the air for the Scotties. You're probably thinking, yeah, but you said they lost 51-0. You're right, because they ran the ball 20 times for minus 35 yards.
What?
Scotty don't know
It's not
protection.
that bad.
That's horrible.
It's minus 1.8 per. Second and 12
I would-
every series.
Third and 14.
Why are you running on
Maybe this
first down?
time.
You got to mix it up.
Here we go. And then that's how you get your 203 through the air. But actually didn't, because you only converted 3 of your 15 third downs. So
Well, they're
that
behind the chains.
actually would not work also.
Oh, so fourth down is where they did it. Okay.
Coffeyville ran 45 times for 281 yards.
Ooh, all right.
There you go.
Okay. So it wasn't the fastest of start for Coffeyville either. So
No,
It takes a while
no,
for
it took a
caffeine
while.
to hit in.
Now, here's one for average. Coffeyville punted twice in this game for 96 yards.
okay, Legatron.
There you go. Pretty good. 6 sacks in the game
Okay.
and dominated time of possession over 33 minutes that they possessed the ball. And actually, Coffeyville was the only team in this game that turned the football over and still won 51-0. Stephen Robinson,
Still.
12 for 152 on the ground, 2 touchdowns. Carlos Williams, 12 for 67. Diesel Solari, 6 carries, 66
That's a name.
yards, and a touchdown.
Yeah.
The
All right.
Diesel.
The Diesel. Tell you guys about Gusty Goulas and the Gusty Goulas Group. If you're looking for a new home in Birmingham, brokered by eXp Realty, over 855-star Google reviews, served more than 3,000 home buyers and sellers in the greater Birmingham area. Call 205-542-1996 today and let them tell you what home they can get you into or what you're looking for. They're going to know what's coming because they have that customer base. Just Google Gusty Goulas Group. See all those 5-star Google reviews for yourself. GustyGoulsGroup.com if you want more information. Coming up tomorrow, it's a Max Ball Friday. Stanford Steve will be with us. 3-man front has more on all the games coming up this weekend, and Paul Feinbaum follows them. That's why you keep it locked right here on Jocks.